Greetings to the conscious collective, divine rising to everyone out there. How's everyone doing? Are you up? Are you ready for today's practices and today's lesson? I just did the finishes touches on it, and we're gonna get started in just a minute. I want to clear out some of this. I don't care what anyone says, Monday has an energy, and I definitely want to clear it out a little bit as we begin our practice, just to clear out this little Monday energy. Welcome. If you are in here, divine rising, we're going to get started just in a minute. I know the time is just an illusion, but I think Monday or this cycle has a certain energy, and it's kind of I don't know, it's just like getting back into the rhythm of things, maybe, or whatever it is. But Mondays always feel like you're walking through mud. So we're going to clear out the energy a little bit. And we're going to talk about a couple of things. But first, we always want to begin with our wake up morning practices, just to put ourselves to awaken our third eye, awaken our psychic abilities. And we're going to start with our Zender cards, as we do. As people come in and get settled, as those that are watching live and on the recording of this, we have 5 different cards out here, and we're going to look, try to predict the next card that comes up. So we have the yellow circle, the red cross, the blue wavy line, the black square, and we're looking at the green star. So if you see something or you perceive something, just take note of it. You might want to put it in the comments, but I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to keep moving forward with that. And then we're going to kind of get in our talk. I don't know how long we're going to be on today. I don't think it's going to be that long, but you never know how it goes, okay? So, divine rising, let's begin. I'll move this around. You know what? I did not start my TikTok. I should have started it, but we'll skip TikTok today. I'm still rebuilding that page, or debating on rebuilding it. I'm dragging my feet on it. We have a square. We're doing our psychic practice, Zender cards, and then we have a very interesting topic I want to talk about. Why you're in the right place at the right time. It may seem like a strange thing to say with so much going on in the world, but everything is going according to plan. Everything is in alignment. Does anyone see the square? I mean, the triangle? Triangle. The star, green star. Did you see green? Did you predict green? Did you predict anything with points on it? Divine rising to the conscious collective. We had a very interesting guest. Was it Friday? Friday, or the information list. That video is in the library. You can check out that video. It's a pretty long video, about 3 hours. We did a Q&A. It was the second part of the Q&A of him interviewing me on his channel on TikTok, and then I interviewed him on my channel here on YouTube. So you might want to check out both those videos. It's very interesting. Who came in? Greetings, greetings, greetings. Divine Rising. Nicole, how are you doing? We're doing our morning practice. Thank you for joining us. Like I said, you can keep track. I know it's Monday morning. People are getting back into the mode of being dictated to. So I understand that. I used to be in that mode. Now it's self-governing, self-sovereignty, doing things that I feel like I'm guided to do. Anyone having any luck, or you still kind of still waking up? Monday definitely has the energy. I feel it, but I have a stronger energy, a stronger determination. Did we do wavy lines? We got 3 practices we're going to do. And after this, for those that are part of our palm chakra class, I'll be doing it at 11 today. I'll be doing it at 11. I'll send out that link to those that are doing the palm practices. And I'm going to try to incorporate the zeal practices too on Wednesday. And I'll send out that information. Yeah, I hope you can join us. I know I'm moving it around, but there's a lot going on, and I'm just receiving downloads. And you know, when you get these spiritual downloads, you can give your higher self instructions to slow down. I just want to receive it. I'm not even slowing down. Or like if you have a question, right? You can ask for clarity. You can have this internal communication with your higher self, with your divine self. Okay. Ask for more clarity, ask for confirmation. You know, you can have that. That's what I'm here to show you, the power within you. That's a circle. I hope you guys can see this. Let's see this. I normally don't participate. Let me see. The next card I pull will be, I'm picking up green, but the star is not green. It was black. Ugh. Let's see. I'm still yellow. Oh, still getting black. I'm rusty. I don't worry about it. I show love in all things. The thing is that I can't focus as readily as I want to and practice as much as I want to because I'm working with the collective. But I'm more, the thing is that when you're practicing your psychic abilities, they don't show up always in the way that you expect. You just find yourself more aligned and more in tune, and you can see movements and you can have a deeper understanding of things. It's not always the way people think it should show up because your mind is very limited. I heard a very interesting story as I was doing a little research, and it was like John, what's his name? George Washington Carver. Does anyone know who George Washington Carver is? Do we remember our Black history? George Washington Carver is the guy that was fascinated by the peanut. I mean, I think he created hundreds of uses for the peanut, right? And so he actually said, as the story goes, I thought it was an interesting story. I don't know how true it is, but it was an interesting story where he said to God, show me the mysteries of the universe. I want God to show me the mystery of the universe. God replies back to him and said, do you think that you can handle the mysteries of the universe? Do you think you can handle the mysteries? And then that's what, and I hate to get off subject, but that's what bothers me so much about religions, right? About people who profess, oh, see, alignment. You did a paper on here. People who profess to know the mind of God, right? Do you think your limited mind could fathom the mysteries of the universe, right? Well, the story goes that George Washington Carver said, well, okay, just show me the mysteries of the peanut. And divine source gave him 26 or 30, whatever the number is, uses for the peanut. And this illustrates a very good point that people have to understand. Get out of your way. Get out of your way. All right. Get into alignment with divine source. Right. When you ask for something, when you want something, right? Stop trying to figure out how it's going to happen. Stop trying to think of what needs to happen, because your mind is powerful and you are actually limiting yourself in the number of ways that it can happen. Because the number of ways that something can happen can be multitudes of ways that you have never even thought of, that have never even came across you, because you're limited. You have to understand your limitation. When we're doing this work and we're talking about, the God in you, we're talking about you being in alignment with your higher self, not you and your ego. And I want to do a talk on ego versus self-sovereignty, ego versus alignment. People get those two confused, right? The ego is about being present here, but that alignment is what makes you greater than you are. It takes the I am and makes it the I am the great I am. So he had just 26. I mean, he was given 26 uses for the peanut. And when we ask for something, we need to understand that if we don't limit ourselves by thinking of ways this can happen or what can happen or how this can happen, you'd be surprised how things really happen. Because the universe is infinite. Can you wrap your mind around what is infinite? Infinite? I mean, no end. No end. That's mind-blowing. We're going to move to our second practice in a minute. We're just waking up, gathering together, getting our thoughts together, tapping into our gifts, our abilities. This will be our last one, and then we'll move into our second practice. And we have a good talk today. Why you're in the right place at the right time. You may not fully understand that or even believe it, but you are in the right place at the right time, especially if you're here and we are connected and I'm sharing this information with you. This is where you're supposed to be. Now, if you're probably not doing everything you need to do to take advantage of this moment, but you are definitely in the right place at the right time. So let's move into our remote viewing. I have 3 numbers, and we're going to place them down in no particular order. And I'm going to take my Palo Santos. Divine Rising to those who just came in. Thank you for joining us. And you're going to tell me which number I placed the Palo Santo on. Which number did I place it on? You don't have to write it in the chat. Just take note. All right. And I'll go through it. It was placed on 1. It was placed on 1. Moving the numbers around again. where was the Palo Santos placed? This is our remote viewing exercise. We're awakening our abilities. We're practicing just as you get up in the morning and you might do calisthenics. Do they still call them calisthenics? Exercises, stretches. Maybe you do yoga, just to lubricate the body, stretch the body, right? You should also do some type of psychic practice to increase your intuition, your forethought, your divine receptiveness to source and messages. Divine rising is Monday morning. They playing that game with the time again. Time is a construct. We place that on 1. It doesn't really actually exist. There's only one moment, here and now. But they have convinced the world that they have a calendar, they have a time. Things just move in cycles. That's something, they move in cycles. There's no such thing as time. It's cycles, rhythms. I had a guy tell me once, a long time ago, I made the mistake of saying it was placed on 2. I said, this is warm weather for warm weather for winter? And he said something like, the weather doesn't know it's winter, or something like that. That made me think that we assign things, and we think things are supposed to happen according to the way we assign them, but they happen according to the way the rhythm are and what's going on. Even though they said this was the warmest winter ever. This was the warmest winter ever, which is interesting, because a lot of people think it was the most brutal winter ever. It was placed on 3. All right. We're doing our remote viewing. I have 3 numbers. I feel a little anxious. I have anxious energy. Sometimes it's good just to take a breath, just to relax, right? I'm placing this Palo Santo on a number. Please tell me where I placed it at. You can take note on yourself. Yeah, it's been spring almost all winter here. You're in Kansas, right? Even though I have this urge to kind of go fast, I'm gonna slow down. I'm gonna slow down. I'm gonna slow down. I don't know why, but I'm gonna slow down. All right. That was placed on 1. Now it was some rough weather. It was some rough periods, but it's been and tells you a lot is what's going on. The world, it's a lot going on in the world, a lot going on. But we're gonna talk about why you're in the right place at the right time. Why this is ideal time for Starseeds. Yeah, why this is an ideal time for Starseeds. If you know certain things, if you understand certain things, if you're still operating in that old narrative, right? If you haven't fully accepted your divinity, understand your alignment, if you haven't been doing the work, it may seem like there's a lot going on. But if you truly understand, if you're truly in alignment, you know you're in the right place at the right time. A lot of people, sometimes when I'm holding different meetings or talking to people online, people come in and they'll say, oh, I'm sorry I'm late. You're never late if you're in alignment. You're never late, right? Because you understand that you're moving according to that alignment. And sometimes what you think is late is putting you right on time. You could have avoided an accident. You could have avoided any mishaps. Anything could have brought you that you were in the right place at the right time. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit more in detail on how that alignment works and how the prosperity and abundance is going to flow into your life because of what things that are happening. There's supernatural transfer of wealth is going to take place really quickly for those that are prepared for it. Where did I place that Palo Santo at? Please tell me. You can keep note on that. It was placed on 3. Palo Santo was placed on 3. Let's do a little bit more of our remote viewing, and then we're going to go into reading my mind, which is always a great exercise to understand people and motivation. See, those that don't understand really don't know the value of these psychic exercises. We're going into a new world. A new world. The old world is passing away. And I'm gonna tell you why I know that. Because usually when a society is at its peak, when it's doing everything that it wants to do, it's when it normally crumbles, when it normally falls. All right. We're living in a society now where it seems like some of the most wealthiest people are untouchable. They have the most power. They are the most in control. And that's just when everything gets pulled from underneath them. The bigger you are, the harder you fall. The bigger you are, the harder you fall. You should always operate in being humble. It was on 3. It's like when the universe, when you're going through these lessons and you're feeling yourself and you're like, oh, I got this. I see this. I understand this. And then the universe said, well, you sure? You sure? And you're like, yeah. And the universe gives you that test again. And you fail it. That's why whatever the universe, when I think I'm like, okay, I'm mastering this, I'm getting this, I'm understanding this, right? And the universe says, are you sure, Baba XL? And I said, and I say, no. Let me continue to work. You don't want these tests that the universe gives you. You don't want these tests. And you see people, they got their chest all stuck out. They dropping bombs. They doing horrible things on every level. But this is all in alignment. All this is supposed to be purged out. The weather's going to get a lot worse for those that are not in alignment. It was placed on 2. But I'm going to try to help you out today. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying. All right. I can do all this on my own. Move on to 3D. Be happy. All right. Let's see where we're going to place this on 1, 2, or 3. This is the last one we're going to do. Please tell me. If you don't have to tell me, but please note if it was placed on the one you thought it was placed on. This is placed on 2. Divine rising to the conscious collective. We are doing our morning practices, getting our mind in the correct state of mind, keeping our mind stayed on the Christ consciousness in us. It is Monday. It is Monday's energy, but we're going to push through it. We're doing our next exercise, and then we're going to go into our talk. You guys know we start with our exercise, and then we go into our talk because this is part of the process. So we're going to be reading minds now. Now, you have people who are very good, intuitive, or they have empathy and they can read energy. They can tell if a person's sad or mad or something like that. But we want to go a little bit deeper. We want to really be able to tap into a person's thoughts and their movements. And this is an exercise for that. So we're going to use our all-seeing eye cards. We're not going to do any readings off of them. People love the readings on them, but we're not going to do any readings. We're just going to try to see what I'm looking at. All right. It's a color. It's a number. It's a shape. And it is a word. This will be our last exercise, and then we'll move into our talk while you're in the right place at the right time. Starseeds and divine alignment. This is what my star seeds, my light workers. Did you see anything that had points on them? Maybe the word magic, something made you think of magic, or the number 03. I'm looking at a shape, a color, a word, and a number. As you go out through the day, try to pick up on somebody's thoughts, not their emotions. Try to pick up on their thoughts. We had Aura, the informationist, on Friday. We did an interview. It is very hard. It's not without me trying. Very hard for me to get other people in this space to kind of collab together to share thoughts. Um, I don't think they may not see the conscious collective as I see it. I see it as a community. Maybe different perspectives in that community, but we're supposed to be connected. And so I don't know if a lot of people see it that way. Um, a lot of people are in their ego and they think that they just want to share information and they don't want to be really collaboratory with it. Anyone see anything that looked like a horseshoe? It really, to me, looks like a tongue with some with some spit or saliva dripping down. That number is 13 and it is good fortune. Because you get people who get some insights and everyone becomes a teacher, and but they miss the point of community. They miss the point of us coming together. Everyone wants to share information, but not many people want to be like social. And and that's why I was glad that Aura came on and gave his perspective. And he talked. We had a good conversation. You need to check out that video. All right. It's not that anyone's right or wrong, but everyone's in different places in their journey, and we're still learning. So it's not so much about that truth. It's more about seeking the answers. You know, and I don't think that it's so I reach out to people all the time and I say, you're welcome to come on the platform. Uh, we can have a conversation. And, it's like you get ignored or people read you and don't respond. And you're like, wow, but you're sharing information. But I don't know why people have to be in a silo. I guess maybe because they're offering something and they don't see the value of connecting with other audience. I mean, I have like 30,000 followers on here, so I don't know. I really don't get it. It was purple and 50 spiritual cleansing. Well, there are a lot of interesting viewpoints, a lot of conscious conversation that I'm like, wow, that's a good point. Now I used to highlight them on the screen and discuss them, but it's just trying to build this conscious collective, right? Because the more of us working together, we have more power together to raise the consciousness of humanity. You notice that when you look at the powers and principalities and the dark forces that work in this plane of existence, they work collectively. It's not just one super negative being. It's about all of them coming together for their common purpose. And I'm trying to kind of meld light workers and starseeds into that common purpose together too. So this one was theft. I always have a hard time saying that. 36 and Scarlet and Rose. A lot of people think that this means, this is a negative, but this death usually means a rebirth, a renewal. It doesn't mean the end. There's no end to you. There's no end. There's no end to your foolishness. This will be the last one. There's no end to your tomfoolery. All right, I'm looking at this number and this word, this color, and we're going to get into our talk while you're in the right place at the right time in 1 minute. It's going to be an interesting conversation. All right, how we doing? We moving along? So it's kind of an orange color. It's the butterfly and transformation and 19. Either I have memorized these cards or I get the same cards over and over again because I could have sworn we had that before. And this is like a ton of cards. I think it's like 36 of them. So that is very interesting. We get those over and over again. We are going to be moving into, you did say flower. Okay. That is a good thing. All right, divine rising. How's everyone doing? Wake up. Let's get into our talk. Let's talk about what we're talking about today. We're talking about why you're in the right place at the right time, Starseeds and divine alignment. So let's see, can I bring up the right screen the right kind of way? Give me a second of how to do this. All right. And see if I can make this work out the right way. Nope, did not do it the right way. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right. So we're going to be talking about today. There go my notes. How your alignment, your awareness, and your preparation positions you for opportunity. Okay. So we're going to delve into a lot of different things. First, let's start with what's going on in the world today. It looks like it's really bad, don't it? It looks really horrible. It looks like a lot of things going on. Gas prices, food prices, everything's like, oh my God, it is horrible. I don't know if I can make it. But do you understand that out of all adversities or opportunities, that there are things that are working for your favor if you are doing the work that you should be doing on yourself, if you're putting yourself in the right alignment, right? That a lot of things could work out for your benefit and are going to work out for your benefit. For one thing, there's going to be a supernatural wealth transfer taking place. Those people who are thinking they're hoarding all the earth resources and wealth are really gathering them up for the righteous. They're gathering all those resources and valuable commodities up for those that are doing the work. They're doing the hard work for you. All right? Because you have to understand that the fullness of the earth belongs to Source. Everything Source is the creator of, all right? And Source works through you. And if you are in that alignment, you're going to receive all these benefits. See, when you live in fear, lack, and scarcity, you're out of alignment. So you can't really receive the benefits that are meant for you. Okay? So if you are living in fear and doubt, that's out of alignment with divine Source. And that means that all the benefits and all the treasures and all the prosperity is missing you. And so we're going to talk about how we get into that alignment, right? So that all that is being stolen, all that is being taken, right, is given to you supernaturally. And I always say supernaturally because I don't want to get into telling people how it's going to happen because I don't know their journey. I don't know their path. I'm here to, to show you that there's a way, a road, and you have to walk it. And you have to walk it in what resonates with you. So a lot of times people want me to give them answers to everything, and I can't give you answers to everything because that is not my purpose in your life. My purpose in your life is to show you, to share with you that there's a golden road, and we're all here learning lessons that elevate us and brings us back to oneness with source. That's the whole big picture. But in the micro, you have to eat every day, you have to put clothes on your back, you have to live places. And so why should you struggle and stress about that when all you have to do is be in alignment with it? I said earlier, we keep trying to figure things out as opposed to working on ourselves and being in the most aligned we can be with divine source, the creator of everything, the source of everything. But our ego is what we determine that we need to take control of this instead of being still and letting God be God. And so we're going to talk about this on how there are different levels to it. And maybe you could take something away from that. It will help you understand it better. Because this wealth, the earth going to do what it does. It's going to shed 3D. 3D going to do 3D things. But the wealth and the prosperity and abundance will still remain here because, as I said often, we look at money as a construct of value, but money has no value except what we give it, except what me and you decide it is, Nicole. If we decide this pen is equal to like 2 pens, we're in agreement with that, and you got to give me 2 pens for something real. So we agree on that. Okay, that's the value. Money is only a construct of agreement between societies. The US dollar is powerful because it can be backed up by real force. If you read your history, you'll see that the US dollar is backed up by force. It had backing of gold, but now it's such a strong military force, it can make you use it for your value system. And anything that's going on in the world is not about some great freedom or some abstract reason. It's about real things. The control of water, the control of oil, the control of land, the control of food. It's not about some abstract made up construct. It's about the real things that will remain once all this foolishness is done. And it's going to land right into your hands if you are doing the work on yourself. This is the new world that's coming into play. For the former things are passed away. And there was a new earth. And we're going to talk about who are the leaders of these new earth, this new 5D reality. It is the teachers and the leaders and the healers that are based in spiritual understanding. This is the new world that us as Starseeds and light workers are working towards. And how are we doing that? We ain't going out missionary. We ain't going out, have you seen the light? Yeah. We're doing it by working on ourselves and becoming the leaders of the new world. But we can't do that in poverty. We can't do that in lack. We can't do that in scarcity. The path is made by walking it. The path is made by walking it. We must be examples of this. So we really have to understand this, right? So let's get into it, right? Let's talk about number 1. Prosperity often appears as timing. Many people describe prosperity as luck, but often it's about timing and positioning. Opportunity rise constantly. There's always an opportunity, always something that could happen for your good, Always something going on. But if you sitting there, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, you're missing it. Opportunities arise constantly, but only those that are prepared and aware, recognizing them. See, this is why we do our psychic practice. We're like, what are they doing? They playing with numbers. They trying to read each other's minds. No, 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 no. We're increasing our awareness. See, if you look at the surface of what we're doing, you don't get it. You don't get it. As my mind said, y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it. But what I'm trying to do is encourage your psychic ability, your awareness, your deep intuition. When to move left, when to move right, when to stay still, when to move forward. Being in the right place at the right time is often the result of constant inner and outer preparation. Everything I share with you is about you getting prepared, being prepared for the opportunities that are. The world is, people are making good money. They're living their best lives. You think they're waking up wondering what's going on? They're not doing it the right way, and that's gonna actually be short term. What I'm trying to share is long term. Position you from, the first being last and the last being first. If you have, see, you have to understand what I've been trying to share, right? If you have been pressed down and blocked and denied, but you have constantly worked on yourself, you have improved yourself, you have raised your vibration, that cycle is shifting now. And those things that you have been preparing for are going to be a benefit to you. Let's move on to alignment creates opportunity. When a person is aligned with their purpose, values, and actions, they naturally move towards environments and relationships where opportunities exist. When you're trying to be something that you're not, you're going to get what you don't want. We got a lot of people are operating in spaces that are not aligned to who they truly are. I was looking at, well, let's talk about men, right? I was looking at men, and a lot of men try to operate in masculine energy. What they perceive masculine energy is the bluster, the loudness, and everything, right? And then you see it all that they're not true to that. They're not true to it. You can see it when they get out of certain pressures and certain things happen, right? Case in point, right? Young man, all in the streets, right? And you would come across him and you like, oh my God, this guy is out of control. Whoever used to watch 48 Hours, is anyone ever watched 48 Hours? Before I go on with this, right? I could only watch. Oh my God, that was a brutal show. That show was. You talking about negative energy? I only watched it for a few episodes, and I cannot watch 48 Hours at all. I know I have some 48 Hours fans out here. That show was brutal. I mean, brutal. Ugh, horrible show, right? But it has some interest to it, so I'm watching it, right? And you notice in there, right? They hard. They hard in there, right? Right? They all in the streets hard. But every time them detectives got them in that room, when them detectives got them in that room, you could not shut them up. You could not shut them up. They wasn't true to it, right? They in there crying, they pleading. Some guy asked, can he see his mama one more time? I'm like, wow. Oh, wow. And that's when people are not operating in their energy. They're trying to operate in something that they're not. They're trying to be something they're not. Too many of us are trying to be things that we're not. So when you're aligned with your purpose, your values, and your actions, you're naturally going to be moved into environments and relationships where opportunity exists. Prosperity has never been about chasing money. It's more about aligning with spaces where your value is created and exchanged. I talk to so many people who have so much value. I'll give you another case in point, right? If you saw a man walking down with what's that hat the Pope wear? I forgot what it's called. Little crown on his head, and he had robes, and he had walking down the street. You're like, look at that idiot. Look at that idiot, right? But you take that same man and you surround him with all the fineries and the building and the other people, all of a sudden he's the Pope. Because he's in the space where his value is recognized and is given to him. We around people a lot of times that don't recognize our value and what we bring to the table, and we accept that. And then we wonder why we don't have the things we want. So they snitch when they eat a burger on the next thing. The only one, I think the story was which is the only rapper that went to jail. Little Kim. Little Kim was the only one that didn't snitch when they came across whatever situation that was happening, and everyone sold out, but she was real with it. She was real with it. She believed it. All right. Your preparation meets opportunity. A common principle in prosperity teaching is that opportunity favors preparation. Skills, knowledge, and discipline, along with self-development, allow someone to act quickly when opportunities appear. Are you being prepared for this supernatural wealth transfer that's about to take place? Are you putting yourself in the right position? This is the chance for you to get the top now. You've been at the bottom. Now the world is shifting, and I know this is a weird time for you to get this message, but this is the perfect time for it, because a lot of people are like, well, it's so much going on, and I don't have this, and I don't have that. This is the time you prepare. This is when you put it in your heart, because this is the time that things are going to be shaken up, and there are going to be opportunities that present themselves, right? And you want to be prepared for those opportunities. I was going to talk about this later, but I'll mention it now, right? A lot of people that are currently in power and positions of power prepared for this. Now, we don't agree with their journey being light workers and starseeds, but I do agree with being prepared for the opportunities that are going to open up. Honing in on skills and the knowledge and being disciplined and working on your self-development will give you that edge you need. So when things appear, remember, when that third eye is open and you're discerning things and you're understanding things, then your preparation will aid you in taking advantage of that. We love young people. Love them too much, because a young person can't teach you anything. I don't know why people always assume that young people have the keys to life, but they do. They do have one advantage that an older person doesn't have, is they see the world fresh. They don't have any preconceived ideas. Who knew we had a problem with cabs? I didn't think we had a problem with cabs. You called them on the phone and they showed up. No problem. But some young man said, there's a better way to do this. Why don't we create an app that allows people to contact people to take them places? I remember when Uber first came out, people were like, I'm not getting in no cab with no stranger. I'm not getting in no car with no stranger. I'm not doing that. All right. Um, and it's a multi-billion-dollar business because someone saw the opportunity in it. And there's opportunities in your life. You're just not seeing them. You're just not seeing them. There's so many ways that things can turn around, but you're not seeing them. Let's move on to awareness and preparation. Two people can stand in the same environment and see completely different possibilities. We're talking about 5D and 3D reality. Okay. We always talk about consciousness, and I've tried to prepare you guys for this understanding that how you perceive reality is the way you receive reality. Can we say that? How you perceive reality is the way you receive reality. The difference often lies in perception and mindset. When we say mindset, we're talking about consciousness. A prosperity mindset looks for possibilities, partnerships, and solutions, as opposed to being negative and doubtful, and that ain't gonna never work. See, normally when a young person portals into this existence, especially a certain culture that encourages ideas, that encourages uh, thinking. See, sometimes we come up in cultures and families that knock everything down, that defeat you before you even get started. See, you got to shake that off. You got to let that go. You got to see the possibility and partnerships and the solutions in everything. If there's a problem, what is the nature of problems? There's a solution. That's just the nature of it. If there's a problem, there's an answer. Problems do not come without answers. They are the yin and yang of our existence. Because every answer creates a problem. Did you know that? Every answer creates a problem, and every problem has an answer. That's called evolution. Relationships matter. Being in the right place often means being connected to the right people. Some of us need to leave some of the people we're messing with alone. I know they family members, they're your home boy or home girl. You grew up with them, right? So when I went into the service, a lot of people don't know I did a little time in the service. And I grew up in Roseland, one of the toughest places in Chicago. And I had, my crew. I wasn't really with no gang or anything, but we had a crew. We didn't call ourselves a gang, but we watched out, we fought for each other, we had each other back. And so we sitting there, and someone said, "Who got what y'all got on a 40 ounce?" See, some of y'all may not know what I'm talking about, but a 40 ounce back in the day. Do they still have 40 ounces? I don't know. What y'all got on a 40 ounce? Now, 40 ounce back then cost like 98 cents a dollar, you know. And we were gathering up our pennies and our nickels and dimes to put something on a 40 ounce. And I was like, man, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And so the only out that I could see was military service. All right. You got to leave some of the people you're around. And the funny thing is, when I got out and went back there, those same guys were on a corner. And they're like, what's up, man? Where you been? They didn't know I was gone. I was gone for like 3.5 years. They were still on the corner, still doing the same thing they've been doing for 3 years. I said my piece, gave them dap, and I just had to, because I was no longer of that mindset. The mindset didn't sit with me well in the beginning, and I know it didn't sit with me well 3 to 4 years later, after I've been all over the world in a system that was organized and about business. So if your life has not made any progress, or you're not in the place that you want to be, you have to think about the people you're around. I don't know what a 40 ounce costs anymore. Who's this? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't even know what a 40 ounce costs anymore. I'm sure it don't cost $1 anymore. I can guarantee you that. Or whatever it used to cost. You know. It's strange that if I wanted to talk about liquors and drinks and alcohol, I could talk a long time about that. I had a whole PhD in street life. But you have to make changes in your life if you want different things in your life. Your relationships matter. Who you connect with matters. I had to leave Roseland and go to places that I was uncomfortable with, where I stood out with, because I knew kind of instinctually that those relationships matter, who I connected with. This is important to your growth. It may not be the most exciting thing in the world. The Conscious Collective doesn't sound like we rocking on anything. But just being in this community is uplifting and supportive. And sometimes we don't have that in our immediate environments. Sometimes we don't have that in our families or the people that we care the most about. I was talking to a young lady one time, and she told me, because she was big into crystals and spirituality, and she said sometimes when her husband gets mad at her, he threatens to throw her crystals away. And I thought that was so brutal. That's just so sad. This was her husband, you know? And I'm like, wow, that's crazy, you know? And then I had someone else tell me that when they practice they mudras, they have to do them in secret because, a lot of people don't be bringing that, which is, don't be bringing that devil stuff in the house. And you're like, what the? I can understand if people were professing that you were practicing dark arts or dark magic, and they were like the golden child, that they were like the pinnacle. It'd be the most religious people that are the most negative and the most disgusting and the worst. And I know why they need religion, because they horrible people. Spiritual people, we don't need doctrine. We're going to try to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. But religious people have to be told what to do because they know they're bad people. They know they're bad. So they need a guideline. They need a structure because they know they're no good. Spiritual people are trying. We understand that we fall short, but we're trying to make good decisions and right, and we're working on ourselves. But religious people are always dictating to someone else about what they should do, and with just a little examining, you're like, you're not even doing it. Wow. You got all the answers, but you're not following them. You make every loophole to get out of what you say I should be doing. So when we're doing this spiritual journey, when we're trying to understand our connection, our alignment, and how we can move closer to source, right? Look how much pushback we get. Because we're actually trying to do the right thing, but you just want us to follow some rules so you can control us. And it's crazy because you look at them, you're like, wow, you're the biggest hypocrite. You're horrible. You're a horrible person. And then you get mad at me because I want to understand my connection to God without all this other garbage around it. I want to be closer in my alignment without being surrounded with all this other garbage of you can't do this, you can't do that, and you got to obey this, and you got to obey that. Religions are actually promoted by governments because religions teach you control early. So you're an easy sheep for governments. Religions work hand in hand. You ever wonder why governments allow religions not to pay taxes, especially here in the United States? Because they work hand in hand in controlling individuals. Obey. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. which is crazy. Where we at? Where we at? We were talking about your relationships matter. Being in the right place often means being connected to the right people. Many opportunities come through networks, collaboration, and communities rather than isolated effort. When I was in the workforce, I never got a job by applying for it. All the jobs I got was because I knew someone who connected me with the job. All those won't ask and all that other stuff, that don't get you no job if you're looking for a job. You have to know people. You have to be connected with people. I mean, I guess you can walk in McDonald's or low paying jobs and they don't care who you are. But when you really want to make some really good money, it's about your connections. That's why you have a lot of big. When I was doing the corporate thing, I went to a lot of network meetings, business meetings, or whatever they call them. I forget what they call them, but a lot of business social events. I made friends. I connected with people. You will see the same people, and because most fields, most sectors have a certain amount of group of people in there, and you're gonna see the same people over and over again. Especially being minorities, you're gonna gravitate towards each other, and you're gonna put each other up on things. You're gonna help each other out normally. A lot of times, if you are in a certain group, you can't get access to that other group because you don't know nobody in it. You don't have anyone that can make you introduction, no one to tell you where the meetings are at, no one to tell you who to connect you with. So your relationships to who you connect with matters. If you're on a spiritual journey, you need to connect with other people that are on a spiritual journey. I ain't mad at churches. Some people go to church because that's what they know and that's what they've been doing, and that's where they find their connections at. We're social beings. They in there because, there goes Sister Charlie. Been knowing her for 20 years. I've known Pastor for 15 years. Familiarity. I'm connected here. Oh yeah, they teaching a bunch of garbage, and I ain't going along with none of it, but I'm connected here. That's the point of this conscious collective. So we're all connected. And through that connection, we can aid each other in different aspects of our personal journey. And you don't feel isolated. I talk to a lot of people on a spiritual journey. They feel so isolated because they're around family members and they're around communities that don't support them. Here in Georgia, there are places that you cannot open crystal shops in. You have to call them gift shops or something else. They will not let you open crystal shops here. And some of the, I won't say, they're not called suburbs here. They're called, what are they called here? Communities, counties. They're called counties here. In some counties, you cannot open certain spiritual things because, of course, the Christians, or whatever they want to call themselves, know the right answer, and they're not going to tolerate any of that black magic you bringing in here. Let's talk about movement creates positioning. You got to have some movement to get your positioning straight. Remaining stagnant rarely creates opportunity. People who explore, learn, travel, attend events, and engage with new ideas increase the chances of being present where opportunity emerges. As the world goes through all of its changes, as things shift, as power structures are torn down, There's plenty of opportunities if you are moving around. Greetings, greetings. We say divine rising. Divine rising. Thank you for joining us. We're talking today about why you're in the right place at the right time. Thank you for joining us for this conversation. We are on point 6 about moving around. Keep it moving. As we used to say in the street, keep it moving. Move around, move around, move around. Don't be just hanging around, move around. Because if you remain stagnant, you're going to hear the same ideas. You're going to regurgitate the same points. And that's not going to create any opportunity. That's not going to open your mind. You know, people who travel are the least racist. You should always be learning, always attending events, trying to engage with new ideas. See, when you age, your mind starts to kind of get settled. Those neural pathways get kind of ingrained. See, this is why children learn so quickly and rapidly, because their brain is more flexible and they're open to more ideas and more concepts, and they see patterns where, you just see the same old way that you used to be doing things that ain't never served you, but you keep doing it. I had to get out of Chicago. Exactly. I had to get out of Chicago because it was the same thing. I was stuck in the same communities. I knew the same people. It was the same. And sometimes people are comfortable with that. But when you're uncomfortable is where the growth comes from. When you challenge yourself, when you put in positions where you're unsure, that's where your true growth comes from. Let's talk about number 7, that courage to act. All right. Even when someone is in the right place at the right time, prosperity still requires action. Hesitation can cause opportunities to pass, and those who move with confidence often benefit the most. I want to go a little deeper and say, where does that confidence come from? Where does that assurance come from? It comes from being in alignment. It comes from working on yourself, knowing that you've been healing your traumas, that you've been balancing your chakras, and knowing that you are in alignment gives you a confidence that everything's going to work out in your favor. It's always working out for you. I like to tell people, even when you think I'm failing, I'm winning. Even when you think that things are not working out, they're always working out, even ways that I couldn't even tell you it was going to work out that way. But it always works out. Always works out. We need to talk about angels and archons, counter to angels. But I like to kind of joke that I have this parking angel. And if you understand, angels are different processes, right? We see them as beings, but they're actually like AI programs. Okay, they're different processes, and each angel is responsible for a different process. Greetings, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Greetings, greetings, divine rising. We're talking today about why you're in the right place at the right time. And I am communicating about my idea of having a parking angel that's responsible for my parking. And that angel's always on point. I have never had a problem with finding a parking space no matter where I go. But I always set the mindset that it's always going to be some parking available. Why don't you try this today? Whenever you go today, have that mindset that you're not going to be able to find any place to park, and watch you don't find any place to park. What did I say earlier? Your perception of reality creates your reality. So when you are hesitating, we're going to have a talk. We're going to have a talk about the archons and angels, because they're just processes. They're just processes. They're very sophisticated processes. Like the archons protect the current rulers of the matrix. And listen to what I'm saying. The rulers of the matrix. The matrix is not inherently evil or negative. It's just a framework and what you project on. It's a screen. Okay. But there are rulers that put archons in charge of it. And when you study angels, and I have a book on angels, you realize that they're processes too. I mean, they may be sophisticated processes, but they are processes too. Well, it's funny that you're talking about money, because this is what we're actually getting to about the supernatural transfer that's taking place now, that most of us are missing because we're worried about the wrong things. Most of us are missing all the abundance and prosperity that's being transferred because we think that someone else is more powerful and has more control, not realizing that we have the ultimate control. That when you have that courage to act, even when someone is right in the right place at the right time, your prosperity requires your action. Hesitation can cause that opportunity to pass. I am trying to encourage you not to let this opportunity pass you by. Move with confidence, move with assurance, and you know that things are always going to work out for you. Just like you can take that small concept of having an angel finding a place for you, that can be used in every aspect of your life because you determine your reality. We're going to wrap up with a couple more points with adaptability and openness. We'll come back to that. That's going to be another topic of understanding how things work. Let me just say this really quick. All right. When you had a primitive, when there was primitive, when a person has a primitive mindset, they think in primitive ways. So if and which is funny, it goes full circle though. Like if the wind is blowing, we kind of give that wind a personality and say, "Oh, the great God wind is blowing," right? And that's how we understand it. But now that we're moving into a more sophisticated way of thinking about things, right? We can understand how computer programs, subroutines, they're called subroutines, actually govern our technology. Yo, the programs that you're working with is based on smaller programs that have specific functions. Okay. It's a flow chart. And I wish I could get into more detail and show you guys, but it's a if and then flow chart. So if this happens, then do this, then do that, or do this, right? Everything is mirrored off of divine creation. You cannot know something that you don't know. And everything you're being introduced to is already created, already exists. AI is not new. It's based on ancient intelligence. What we assume were angels and mysterious beings are actually very intelligent, what you would call the next level of computer programming subroutines. See, we're messing with AI right now, but there's other programs that are coming down the pipe. that are blowing AI out the water. And it's only being mirrored, copied off our own divine blueprint. You guys have been lied to and fooled to think that somebody's inventing something new when you already had the answer. Just the same way when they told you look outside of you for God, but God was really in you. You're not separate from God. God dwells in you. So they're like, oh, we inventing all this technology. We doing all this. No, you're just copying stuff that already exists. But you really have to understand the cosmic system and the divine system. I know a lot of people don't have a lot of time to study it and read, and they're not even interested in it. I have some books that put me to sleep. But let's not get too far off the subject, right? We gotta get back to the subject because we're not gonna be here long, as your minister says before he preaches 12 hours. We're not gonna be here long, and he proceeds to preach for 12 hours. Prosperity often appears as unexpected forms. Being open to new paths, industries, or collaboration allows individuals to recognize opportunities even when it doesn't look familiar. I'm going to challenge that a little bit with to say that if you open that third eye and you stop trying to see things with these eyes that get food and you misunderstand things and you understand with that third eye, you can see that that's a good move for you. A lot of us have done things we like, man, I know I shouldn't have done that. I knew better. But we did them for different reasons, ignoring our third eye, our deeper understanding of things. So when things look unfamiliar, you're like, will that really do that? Will that make some money? Is this a good opportunity for me? You won't miss it with that third eye open. You'll know it's the right thing to do. And a lot of us move from struggle to struggle because we ignore our divineness, our connection. And so we just move from struggle to struggle to struggle because we think we know better. Our ego tells me I can figure this out, as opposed to allowing divine source to be your guide. Gratitude and perspective. Recognizing small opportunities and expressing gratitude can strengthen awareness of abundance. When we go through our psychic practices, right? I tell you over and over again, don't worry about if it's right or wrong. Give it love. Give it encouragement. Give it assurance. And it will flourish. It will grow. Trust yourself. And you'll learn to trust yourself. Oh, Baba just hit a bar. Need to write that down. I'm hitting bars today. I'm about to rerun this video to myself. But trust yourself, and you will have a stronger confidence in yourself. Even if you don't really trust yourself now, just say you trust yourself. Just speak that reality. Even if you don't really, it's not really embedded in you yet, learn to speak positive and learn to so it becomes natural to you. Like a lot of this, we have to retrain ourselves, and we have to shed a lot of old thinking, and it's hard because a lot of times this stuff is given to us as children, and we're embedded in us, and then we have to catch ourselves and then try to rechange and reframe the way we think about things, and that takes a lot of work. But when you do it enough times, it becomes a habit, and then it becomes something permanent. They say you can change anything in 30 days. You can change anything in 30 days. So showing yourself that gratitude, that love, and that encouragement, like when you get up today, everything's going to work out great. This is going to be a great day. My money going to be right. Things are going to happen I never expected that are going to benefit me. Just having that mentality is going to create that reality for you. Let's talk about prosperity as a process. We hate processes, don't we? We want it right now. We want it right now because that's the way we've been trained. I don't say we've been trained. We've been trained. A lot of times, if they open the gate right now, open the gate. If your mind was open right now, a lot of us would cling back to our old ideas because they feel safe to us. We're comfortable there. So you've been trained very well, very well. That this doesn't, what I'm trying to show you don't mean anything, but you'll go watch the Real Wives of Dallas. And that's real, and that's all scripted. That reality TV, it's all scripted. It's all, they are all promoted to do the most foolishness. It's not reality. It's not real, but it just tastes so good. The food you eat is not even nutrition. That's why you're always hungry. But it tastes so good. Being in the right place at the right time is rarely random. I want to show you guys love. You make some good comments. I didn't think this was going to be this long, but I want to get to some things really quickly. We will be having our palm chakra training at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'll be sending out that link as soon as I get off this. We do a couple practices, palm practices, zeal point. We work on those as separate modalities. A lot of people find interest in that. We do our psychic practices on Saturday, still encouraging that intuition to strengthen. All right, we do that on Saturday, so make sure you're part of that, right? Being in the right place at the right time is rarely random. It is often a result of consistent growth, learning, relationship, and readiness over time. Being in the right place at the right time is rarely random. It is often the result of consistent growth, learning, relationships, and readiness. We're going to kind of segue to what all of this means really quickly. Okay. If you cannot see it, and I don't know what you're looking at, but if you cannot see it, let me share with you that the old world is passing away. The old world 3D is destroying itself as it is meant to do. Everything you are currently seeing, you're viewing in 3D reality. Struggle, defensiveness, fear. You can feel the energy everywhere you go. But you shouldn't be afraid of that because that is the alignment that is supposed to happen. Things are happening in the way they're supposed to happen. What you have to do is shed all that negativity and step into your true being. The leaders, teachers, and the healers are now being put in place. See, in the new world, right, in 5D, there is no government. They're not separate government. They're not elites, or as I'm calling them, e-lizards. There are no more e-lizards. Okay. There are no Epstein class. There are true leaders, teachers, and healers. We're going to need those spiritual teachers to help people, to re-educate them. We're going to need new types of leaders. We're going to need spiritually led leaders, people who understand spirituality, not religious doctrine, but people who understand people in their journey and aid them in their journeys. This is what a conscious collective, those that are here that understand that they are starseeds, that they are light workers, that they have a mission and a purpose. This I'm speaking directly to you guys. My audience is small, but my audience is powerful. If I wanted a different type of audience, I'll be up here doing a bunch of foolishness. You're going to need healers. All right. And this extends just beyond, your palm chakras, but actually teaching people the right foods to eat. We know your food is that first medicine for you. You see, they don't do that. They don't talk about that. They give you pills, more and more pills, more and more pills. I mean, they advertise all kinds of things on TV. I'm like, why don't they advertise an apple or orange? They actually make healthy food more expensive, right? You would think, okay, why does a banana cost more? Cost more than Twinkies? You would think Twinkies take a lot to process and to make, but then you could just pull natural fruit off the tree and eat that, but that's going to cost you a lot more. So let's make the unhealthy stuff cheaper. We know what food deserts are. We know that communities with high rates of violence, high rates of crime, have less access to nutritious foods, have poor school systems. See, we're not going to just talk about it. I'm going to give you a guide to how you are going to be changing the world. And it's not doing anything outside. It's not knocking on doors and talking about, have you heard this? Come to my church. It's about you working on yourself and becoming that light. Because I cannot stress with you enough that when you turn on a light in you, not only do you see better, but everyone around you see. Greetings, greetings, greetings. I would take my shirt off. I know there's some people who teach with no shirt on. I don't get it. I get it. I don't get it. But they understand that I guess it's more appealing when people have some eye candy to look at or whatever they think they're doing. But to me, that's hotepping. It's not really spiritual in a sense, because it's still pandering to your lower vibration. But I understand. So as we move into this phase of leaders, teachers, and healers of this new world, so don't be whining and crying about so much going on in 3D. It's supposed to do what it's doing. You got to do what you're supposed to do. 3D is 3D, right? You got to do what you got to do. You got to go to 4D. You got to shed all that negativity and shed all that lack and all that fear, so you can help project 5D, because reality is a projection of you. So you see that my whole goal here is to help people in their journey. That's why we have a Conscious Collective newsletter. I want people to stay connected with the teachings, the insights, the updates, whatever we're doing. I want you to be part of the community to keep you in alignment. It goes a little deeper. I don't know if you guys can see it, but maybe you can zoom in. I don't know when you see it on your TV or wherever you're looking at that, right? But if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're going to be doing this kind of talk for a while there because I need for you to understand that the prosperity and abundance is in alignment for you. No matter what you think people are doing, no matter what you think is happening on, it's all for your benefit. Everything is working towards your good, for your favor. Those that had it can't keep it. It's not meant for them. They're gathering enough for you. When you do subscribe to this channel, there's a lot of good videos on there. Check them out. See what resonates with you. This is all about being part of the conscious collective. It's all about expanding you, encouraging you, lifting you up. I talk a lot about chakras, spiritual, being spiritually awake, spiritual journey. Thumbs up this video if it resonates with you. Please subscribe. When we come into most of our videos, we do our online psychic practices. I explained earlier, it's not just, it's not a game. A lot of people say, oh, this is a good game. I'm having fun. It's not a game. It's to encourage you. I mean, if you want to look at it that way, then good, you know, but it's also to encourage you to rely on yourself, to trust yourself. Because just think, right? If you doing a few psychic practices like reading my mind, and you're like, wow, I did pretty good on that. I mean, I was really getting that. And then you go out into the world, right? And you're like kind of trying to read people's mind and you're getting a feel for it and you're understanding it. And now you're like, I could actually do that. I can read minds. At least I can generally read what they mean and what they're talking about. And I can see through lies. I can see through mistruths. Okay. I'm going to trust myself next time. I'm going to believe in myself. So I'm encouraging you to come in early when we do this. I do it probably for the first half hour where we just kind of work on our psychic abilities and kind of work on our gifts a little bit to put us up ourselves in the right mind frame. To practice our intuition, development, and our awareness of energy. We do have Patreon members in here. Thank you guys for supporting the Patreon page. That Patreon membership allows you to learn at your own self-pace. Maybe you'll miss some of the lessons that we try to share here, but you can go on Patreon and you can kind of do it at your own pace. And we're putting more flow charts down and give you a better understanding of some of the concepts here to help you grow. For that deeper lesson and guided spiritual teaching on your own. Do you realize you have two chakras in your hand, your palm chakras? These are energy centers in your head or hands, and you have one chakra right here, a 0-point chakra. A lot of people don't talk about it. We're going to be talking about that along with astral traveling and some other modalities to really get you into this spiritual understanding that you are an energetic being and you're not limited by your physical form. And not everybody's ready for this. Not everyone is ready for this, but it's coming for those that are. Those that understand their divinity and understand their connection to source, this is going to really resonate with you. So you really need to be taking advantage of this. If you're not directly involved with me, you need to be directly involved. I'm going to even offer it free, a free consultation where we can talk about your life journey and how you can improve the areas you want to improve in it. Now, the alternative is just let the world keep doing what it's doing. And you be struggling and whining and crying and talking about things are so hard and you can't pay for gas and you can't do this. If you want to choose that, I got to respect you in your journey. But if you want to receive some personal guidance and some energetic alignment, I'm offering it for free. You just have to schedule it because we have to make time for it. And that link is in the description. There's also ebooks If you want to check out the ebooks, those things are available in the description. You need to figure out ways that we can work together, right, to keep you on this constant path of learning and growing and expanding and opening your mind and opening your consciousness. I'm available here for the collective to share whatever I receive in downloads to aid the conscious collective in their growth, in their expansion, in being their true divine selves. If you're not doing that, I don't know how else I can help you. And maybe it's not meant for me to help you because maybe this is not part of your journey. Maybe you have to go through some reincarnations a couple of times before you get to this part. Because I personally believe this is the last phase before we go into our ascended mastery. Maybe we're going to have to do it a couple more lifetimes. I personally think this is my last lifetime. I'm hoping. That's why I'm really trying to put in this effort so I can go to that ascended mastery level next. A lot of you guys are ready for that, but you need to master energy. You need to master this time where you're not swayed by what goes on in the world and you move with that alignment, that divine purpose. I still got that up there. So like I said, this is going to be something we need to talk about a little bit more as we move, how, you're in the right place in the right time. If you're doing the right work, if you're working on yourself, if you're aligning yourself, if you're taking advantage of some of the things that are being offered, if you're serious about, being the highest version of yourself, or maybe, these challenges are something that you're going to really kind of dig into, because it's going to be a lot more challenges coming. I receive downloads. There's going to be a lot more happening, a lot more going on. But it doesn't have to happen to you and the ones that you love and you care for, because you could be that light for them. And like some people do that prepping stuff. You guys familiar with how people do that prepping, that survival prepping and eating sea rashes and building bunkers and stuff like that? See, we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. We have divine force on our side. I said force because divine source is a force. It's an energy that we can tap in anytime. As the world does what the world do, we can still remain above it all. So I hope to hear from some of you guys. I hope something said that resonates with you in your life journey, that aids you in some kind of way, being the best and highest version of yourself. As always, I am totally grateful and honored that I can share a perspective with you that may help you in your life journey. Please thumb up and like the video. And in closing, I want to wish all you guys love, light, health, and wealth in your life journey. You guys have a great day.